We are alive. How we doing, everybody? It is Sunday morning. We're live for Q and Assault. We'll keep it private for the first 20 minutes or so, or until the questions run dry. After that, we'll open it up to the public, and we'll let the floodgates run. Let's get these questions dialed up, fit nicely in the box here. Make sure we're dialed in, people. Dial in, shirts tucked. That's how you know. This is how you know we're dialed. We're going straight glasses today. We're in the lab. We're getting scientific with it. I need a little cliff cloth. How we doing? How we doing? Feel like Robert De Niro with these, you know? Trav, what up? Gregory. Trav says, Nick, which two should I start in flex? We've got half PPR, Josh Kelly, DJ Moore, Scary Terry, and Brian Robinstein. Let me pull up the matchups. I also want to go through something else. I want to show y'all a resource that I use pretty often that I think will help you guys. It is free. It is out there. It will help you make decisions just a little bit easier for y'all. All right. So with this question, we have two Washington Commanders going up against the Bills. That's a tricky defense. They've obviously played some light offenses. They had the Raiders last week without Jacoby Myers. They had the Jets in week 1 with Zach Wilson. So I don't want to overemphasize the Bills defense, but they're playing pretty good ball. Their rush defense right now is ranked actually kind of bottom of the league, 24th overall. Their pass rush is a little bit of the same, actually, 24th. And then the Bills' coverage is ranked 19th. All right, so we might have gotten some mixed signals from the Bills' defense just based on the fact that they played against the Raiders and the Jets. So maybe their defense is a little more suspect than we are really in tune with right now, which makes this question a little bit interesting. I still feel like this offense is really taken over from KC. Like Eric Bieniemy coming over there to Washington has made the variety of dudes who get involved in the offense just at such a high pace that it's really hard to trust any passing option. Obviously, Terry had a big game last week, but still think he's probably dealing with some of the lingering effects of the turf toe. Brian Robinson has been a fucking menace. I like B-Rob a lot. He would probably be my one in this situation. Look at DJ Moore against the Chiefs. Pretty good matchup overall because they're going to have to throw the ball a lot and score a lot of points in order to even have a fucking Hail Mary's chance of staying in this game. So DJ Moore could be good. I think DJ Moore and Terry are a little bit similar in my eyes for this week at least. Actually, I might be getting too cute here. I really like a Josh Kelly bounce back. I think if there's one thing that we figured out over the last few years is that you just don't play running backs really against the Tennessee Titans defense because their run defense is just so good, man. They stop fucking everybody over there. So Josh Kelly really never had a prayer. But now that Eckler's out again, Kelly against the Vikings, it's a great matchup. They're going to throw the ball a lot. They're going to run the ball a lot. I would imagine their offense is just going to be extremely productive overall and just have a lot of goal line opportunities, which obviously favors it's way too bright. Josh Kelly, my pale skin can't handle that. So this is just such a long-winded way of saying great fucking question. I would definitely start B-Rob. And then I think I would diversify from the offense. I think I would diversify from the B-Rob offense. DJ Moore is kind of cool. I think I would go Josh Kelly there. As disgusting as that sounds, I'd go back to Josh Kelly, Travis. Half PPR, Godwin or Zay Flowers, and most or Stevenson. Ooh, I like this. Here's the thing. Like I'm almost never starting or sitting Raheem Mostert, especially with Jalen Waddle out. I feel like they're going to have to run the ball a little bit. And the Jets defense, the run defense is really, really good. So that might be tough for Ramondre Stevenson. I could see this being like a fucking dogfight. And in dogfights, you use guys like Zeke. You want to hit people in the fucking mouth, and Zeke might not be much, but if he's anything, he's that. He's able to hit people in the mouth still. So I feel like Zeke might get a weird number of carries in this game. So I would actually lean Mostert there. And then we're talking Godwin or Zay Flowers. Don't love the matchup for either of them, but I do actually like Zay Flowers this week a little bit more than Godwin, just because the Colts have just an abysmal group of cornerbacks that can be exploited on the outside. Now, Zay Flowers, for the most part, I actually want to check out the slot numbers versus the outside numbers for Zay. But with OBJ probably out for this game, or definitely out for this game, we'll probably see Zay play a little bit more on the outside. And he's actually been out wide more often than he's been inside, which is good against the Colts secondary because their cornerbacks are terrible. He has ran 68 routes out wide. He has ran 44 inside. If we're doing quick math there, that's about 65-ish percent. 68% or so on the outside. So I think that bears well for Zay Flowers. I'm going to go Zay. I'm going to go Mostert there. Let me show you this resource before we dive into the next question. So this is RotoGrinder's weather report. This is absolutely free for y'all to jump into. It is, you can see the URL up on the top left, rotogrinders.com/weather/NFL. And basically, it looks at all the matchups that have any sort of limiting weather to them. And you can see that on the left side here. Basically, all of these matchups have at least something going on that's worth noting to do with weather. But the more significant it gets, the color scheme kind of goes up. So green is like, yeah, there's something there that we should that's worth noting, but it won't be a big deal and it won't really affect the way that the game is played. Yellow, you start to get a little bit concerned. Orange is when things get gross. So if you look at this, and sometimes there's red where it's like a fucking hurricane or something really, really, really bad, like 8 inches of snow. This is just something worth noting, especially if you're someone that bets on like the over-unders of games. If you're trying to decide between a guy who might like catch a really long pass, for instance, if like the Minnesota Chargers game, if the Minnesota Vikings and the Chargers game was played in really, really shitty weather, you might knock Jordan Addison down, right? Who's a guy that's not getting a lot of opportunities, but he's making really big plays. But if the weather is really shitty and they're in a game where, Kirk's not actually going to be able to throw the ball deep because the weather dictates that, you knock him down like a pretty significant amount. But for this week, the only orange game is New England at New York, the East Coast game I'm most concerned with. Pretty good shot of rain at some point during the game, though more dry than wet. Wind sustain of 10 to 15 miles an hour, gusts of 25 to 30 miles an hour. So I'd imagine both teams do absolutely try to keep the ball on the ground. There's no way they're letting Zach Wilson rip the ball in 20, 25 mile per hour winds. So just like keep that in mind when you are betting, maybe just reception numbers. Like that could mean quick screenplays, like their passing plays. They might attempt 20 passes in this game, 4 of them being like Garrett Wilson line of scrimmage screen pass type plays. You know what I mean? They're not going to want Zach Wilson throwing it outside the hashes, downfield, or anything like that. So there's a bunch of yellow ones here. Indy at Baltimore. We have Denver at Miami. Scattered afternoon storms. Buffalo at Washington. So you guys can go check this one out. Again, this is the URL, rotogrinders.com/weather/NFL. I'll actually just type that into the comment section so you guys can like bookmark that later if you want. But really good resource that's free. Always trying to give you that free sheesh. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's get back to the questions. Yeah. What up, Influence? Gregory, bench one, Godwin, Cooper, Lockett, Josh Kelly. I'm going to bench Godwin there for sure. I love Cooper's matchup against Tennessee. I like the fact that with no Chubb, Watson's going to be forced to have to throw the ball. No reason to bench Lockett. And then Josh Kelly, I kind of talked about him already, so I will bench Godwin there. I need water. I just be drinking C4 like it's water out here. I stay hydrated through electricity. You know what I'm saying? Make no fucking sense. Half PPR, 1 flex. Pierce, Kendre Miller, Dobbs, Sutton. Ooh, interesting. All right, so first thought is we're gonna sit Dobbs. Because I think with Dobbs and the Packers against the Saints pass D has been fucking electric. Marshawn Lattimore right now is the number 1 graded cornerback per PFF. So without, I don't think we have an actual read on Christian Watson yet. Game time decision today. Both on the field warming up, testing out their hamstring injuries they've been dealing with. Uh, if Aaron Jones and or Christian Watson play today, expect the Packers to have them on pitch counts given the short turnaround for week 4. They play Thursday night against the Lions. I'm probably staying away from anything Christian Watson related, which means I think Dobbs will probably see a lot of Marshawn Lattimore, so I'm going to stay away from there. I do like Cortland Sutton a bit. Kendre Miller feels I want to love Kendre Miller. Like, I want to really be like, okay, this is his game with Jamal Williams out, with Kamara not returning until next week. I want to be like, yep, Kendre, but this is also his first game back. And Tony Jones will probably be like fucking annoying enough to be a problem. Maybe he gets the goal line work. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm just wrong and Kendre kind of balls out, but there's enough red flags with like Taysom Hill here too, where I could see he got really involved last week. I could see him used in the red zone a lot, him scoring some rushing touchdown or something. So I'm probably going to fade Kendre. I think I need to see Kendre Miller on the NFL field before I buy into it. So it's definitely between Dameon Pierce for me and Cortland Sutton. So Dameon Pierce is going against the Jaguars, and this feels like a game where the Jaguars will kind of dominate game script. They are 7.5-point favorites. Texans will have to throw the ball a lot. Pierce is not running a ton of routes, unfortunately, so don't really feel great about it. Jacksonville is actually graded out as a top 5 run defense as well this year. It's Indy, Philly, Baltimore, Atlanta. Fucking let's go, Atlanta. And then Jacksonville, so they're a tough run defense. And then Sutton, I don't know. The Broncos are going to have to score points against Miami. So extremely long-winded way of saying I think I would actually roundabout way get Cortland Sutton in my lineup. Damn, y'all be asking me sit-start questions. I'm fucking giving you sit, start, run, marathon answers. What a world. Christian Watson, 4 seconds ago. We just got it. Inactive. Aaron Jones, also inactive. David Bakhtiari, inactive. Jaire Alexander, inactive. Shee. Packers down tremendous. Man, they're such a good team, too. They need to get healthy. They need to get healthy. Olave's going to ball out with no Jaire Alexander. Gosh darn it. Gosh fucking darn it. All right, Will, what up? Pick 2, half PPR. Ridley, yup. Ridley, always Ridley. Flowers, Tutu, Dobbs, Christian Watson, and Shaheed. Okay, really interesting question. Flowers I like. Dobbs we don't like. Christian Watson's obviously out now. Shaheed I do like. And with no Jaire Alexander, I just don't know if they're going to need to throw the ball much. Maybe they take some deep shots. My instinct is actually to go to Tutu here. I feel like Tutu and Puka seem like their role is so solidified until Cooper Kupp returns. I think Tutu will take the biggest hit to volume and production once Cooper Kupp is back. I feel Ridley's by far and away my one. Flowers and Tutu feel very, very close to me. But this is where maybe something like the weather comes into play here, right? Where I was just showing you guys that page where Indy and Baltimore is yellow. It says the center of circulation for what's left of Ophelia is over Baltimore and Washington. That's a good thing. It means light winds, just 5 to 10 miles an hour, and the rain is clearing too. I don't think the game is fully dry as there's likely some lingering spotty drizzle or a passing shower, but there's no real heavy stuff here. And what rain we do see likely clears in the second half. So no actual real weather concerns there, I suppose. So between Flowers and Tutu, really close for me to call there. I'd honestly probably fucking flip a coin between the two. The Bengals defense has been pretty underwhelming on the outside in terms of like coverage and stuff like that. So I'm not worried about the Rams' pass success. I guess the only concern I would have with Tutu, and this could be the same concern with Baltimore playing against Indy, is like both teams could get up. Like if Joe Burrow is inactive, then the Rams can absolutely go into a game script where they're just giving Kyren Williams like 20 to 25 touches, which means like not a ton of high volume pass attempts, but we could also see McVay just explode and give up a ton of fucking targets. Also, long-winded way of saying that I like Zay Flowers more as a player, but I actually think I feel more comfortable with Tutu here. So I would probably go Ridley and Tutu. Half PPR, Jalen Warren or Khalil Herbert. It's thin. I have a lot of injuries in this league. Ooh, okay, interesting. So we have Jalen Warren in half PPR or Khalil Herbert. We got the Bears against the Chiefs. Definitely not a great game script for Khalil Herbert here. And then we have Jaylen Warren and the Steelers are playing. They're not. Where the fuck are they? They're against the Raiders. Ooh, I do kind of like that matchup. Yeah, I think especially with like Chandler Jones out now, they have one of the worst rush defenses in the entire fucking NFL here. They're actually 4th worst, so 29th ranked per PFF just in terms of overall run defense. And Jaylen Warren's obviously super involved in the passing game, so I'm actually gonna go Jaylen Warren there, Jacob. Travis Garrett, pick 1. Pittman, DJ Moore, Scary Terry. Ugh. This feels like an impossible question to answer. I'm not going to lie to you. Terry gets Tre'Davious White, but like Tre'Davious is not necessarily the shutdown corner at this point, I don't think. He's good, but he's not anything like dynamite elite like he was. I think I'm gonna go Scary Terry there. Full PPR, 1 flex, Josh Kelly, George Pickens, Zach Moss, Jerome Ford. Wow. Okay, so I think we learned our lesson against Tennessee with the running back, so I'm going to sit Jerome Ford. Damn. Colts and Zach Moss, sneaky or not, like, sneaky I don't hate, but against the Baltimore run defense, which right now is a top 3 run defense in the NFL, probably going to pivot away from that. There's no way they have the game script to feed Zach Moss. So we're looking at George Pickens against the Raiders, which is fantastic matchup, coming off a really good game. And then Josh Kelly, also fantastic matchup against the Minnesota Vikings, who are the 2nd worst run defense in the NFL right now. Full PPR, Pickens coming off the big game, obviously. Should probably play Pickens here. I will say this, Pickens and Josh Kelly for me are really close in this one. I think the smart play is Pickens. If you went Josh Kelly, I probably would not. I wouldn't blame you necessarily. Big Willie Styles. Would you gamble with Puka or play it safe with Pickens? I do not have a good contingency plan on Monday Night Football. That's a good question. I'm really not concerned with Puka at all, to be honest with you. Maybe that's me being a fucking moron. Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua is listed as questionable for Monday, but Sean McVay says he expects him to play. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely expected to play. I also think he's kind of been dealing with this for a minute. And it didn't affect him what the fuck soever last week. Yeah, I have almost no worries about Puka this week. So I personally would go with Puka. It's also like a decent. Don't forget, there's multiple games on Monday night too. There's Eagles, Bucks. There's Rams, Bengals. So there are. I know you said you don't have a lot of options. So like maybe this is useless to even throw it out there. But I don't know. There's like assuming it's gonna be in your flex spot. There are some tight ends. You could always go with fucking Cade Otton, who's been running a shitload of routes for the Eagles. 3rd wide receiver, I think, is Quez Watkins right now, but I could even be wrong about that. You can go with a flex running back for the Eagles. They got a lot of them. Who else we got here? Yeah, I mean, of course you'd have to get Q. I don't know who's available on your waiver wire, but yeah, I would still go with Puka. He's like a week winning type player. Yeah. Aaron Jones ruled out. Let me get him out of any of my fucking lineups. I think I already got him out, but fucking what a piece of shit. Brendan, Damian Pierce, Hopkins, or Joshua Kelly at flex full PPR. I'm going to go Kelly there. I've got like such little faith in Hopkins, to be honest, and the Browns defense is really, really good. Pierce I like too, obviously as a player, but like until we see it, until shit is spicy again over there in Houston, I don't see the run games being very good. And we got to remember, like, the O-line for Houston is so banged up. I got to see what they're looking like on the offensive line still. Kenyon Green is obviously still out. He's on the IR. Juice Scruggs is out. We have Titus Howard still out. Is Laramie Tunsil playing? Missed week 2 with a knee injury and is listed as questionable to play week 3. Look for vet to play through after missing latest contact. All right, Laramie Tunsil might still be back, but still they're missing 3 out of the 5 starters on their offensive line, so I don't expect a ton of room for him. So I go Joshy, Jacob. For flex half PPR, Addison, Josh Reynolds, and Damian Pierce, Kelly, or Gainwell. Again, we get so many of the same questions. Goddamn. Kelly at running back, Addison, and Josh Reynolds. That's a great question. I'm going to go Addison, though. This kind of feels like the game that I like Reynolds. I think he's like a really nice, safe play. This kind of feels like the game they let him rip, Addison. I'm looking back at, like, one, they had a lot of time between last game and this game, and this feels like when they install more plays for Jordan Addison. And when you look back at Justin Jefferson's rookie year, he didn't play much. Well, not that he didn't play much, but he was the wide receiver 3 also behind fucking Olabisi Johnson for 2 weeks. Week 3, he's in the lineup fully, explodes. Very similar system here, in my opinion. You have the clear one, Adam Thielen was at the time. You have a shitty wide receiver 2 that they keep forcing to play more than the rookie. That was Olabisi Johnson at the time. Same thing here. You have a talented rookie behind him, Justin Jefferson. Week 3 is when they started playing him a lot. It was also Kevin O'Connell's guy that he drafted. So I think this could be like the real breakout for Addison in that beautiful matchup. Jake Ferguson or Hayden Hurst? I'm going Fergie there. William, Damian Pierce, or Samaje Perine half PPR. Yeah, I'm not gonna go that far with Damian Pierce. Like, I don't feel confident, but I also don't, I don't feel gross enough to want to play Samaje Perine over him. Breece Hall, Rashad White, or Jacoby Myers at flex full PPR. I like this question because Jacoby is kind of going under the radar now that he missed week 2. Pittsburgh's run defense is not good. But their pass rush, of course, with TJ Watt is awesome. Their coverage is kind of middle of the pack, but I like Jacoby. Full PPR, Rashad White looks kind of good too, even though the Philadelphia run defense is kind of elite. Breece Hall, I don't really see making it's hard to get a read on what Breece Hall is going to do this week because you look at it from a few different angles, right? Like, one storyline is that the Pats defense always shuts down the Jets offense, especially when Zach Wilson is under center. Over the last 4 games that Zach Wilson's played against the Pats, 0-4 obviously, the high number of points that they put up was 17. And honestly, I didn't even check if any of those were defensive points. One of them could have been a touchdown from the defense. But he's put up games of 3 points and 6 points. And it's been terrible, which is obviously terrible for your offense overall. At the same time, they're not going to want to rely on Zach Wilson. And they are the only shitty weather game on the slate. They're the only orange. Winds 10 to 15 miles an hour, gusts 25 to 30. So I'd be shocked if Zach Wilson attempts more than like 25 passes this game. I actually want to see what the underdog line on Zach Wilson is. Let me see if they got pass attempts on here. Zach Wilson, 28.5 pass attempts. Do they throw the shit out of the ball if they're down in the second? I'm going to take the lower on 28.5 pass attempts on Zach Wilson right now on underdog. That being said, though, this being a full PPR question, how much success does Breece Hall have on the ground? They're still probably going to split work with Dalvin Cook. He's a veteran, windy, ugly situation. So realistically, I think for me, obviously this could end up looking bad. Like, Breece can rip off a monster fucking game and just have like an 80-yard touchdown run or something like that, and this could look stupid. But I think I'm looking between White and Jacoby. This does feel like one of those ones where, White coming off a really big game, Going against the Eagles, though, this feels like a really obvious fade situation for Rachaad White. Like, he's not going to have any success on the ground. Probably average like 3.7 yards per carry on 14. On 14. Oh, Kelsey, it's all good. I ended up emailing everybody on the. I emailed everybody on the list. I ended up emailing everyone on the list, so anyone that's in that chat that didn't get the link and may be complaining is not actually a paid member anyways. So that's okay. So Jacoby Myers, he was such a big part of the offense, and I imagine that the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is going to zone in on Devontae Adams, though I think it could be a big Josh Jacobs game, actually. I think it could be a big Josh Jacobs game. And then Rachaad White, I just feel like it's going to be disappointing, man. But Jacoby's not that much better of an option. I'm sorry. I'm just fucking finagling around right now. I'm just flailing around without a fucking answer for you. I'm going to tell you Rachaad White. But, like, I'm fairly confident he's not going to have a good game. I just think the volume feels better. But Jacoby Myers, I actually feel like could have a really nice game. So take that for what you want. I might go Jacoby last second pull over Rachaad White, but I don't know. Jacob, would you go Josh or Mike Williams half PPR? Oh, definitely Mike Will. Mike Will made it for show. Yeah, but you told the chat you'd put it in there. Yeah, well, you know me well enough now to know I'd be lying sometimes. I'd be accidentally lying all the time. I don't intentionally lie ever, but I unintentionally lie all the time. Madison, Elijah Moore, Puka at flex. That's it. End of question right there. Puka. It's always Puka. There are like 4 teams in America right now that can have a lineup good enough to sit Puka. You just ain't doing it. You just ain't doing it. All right, let's make some underdog lines. Yeah. This is the sign of a good leader, of a good boss. You say things, and you outsource the bullshit that comes with the backlash of you saying things. If that's not a future CEO of a Fortune 500 company, don't know what to tell you. All right, let's take some underdog lines. If any of you guys are new to Underdog, they have a 100% deposit match bonus going on right now, as well as getting a free square if you deposit right now with promo code BDGE. If you get on there, $10, promo code BDGE. What you'll see here, what I don't see because I'm already on here, obviously, you will see a 0.5 pick'em line. So someone will have a yardage line of 0.5 yards, a.k.a. a free motherfucking square. So we already said we're going to go lower on Zach Wilson pass attempts because the weather's gross and they just don't want him to be the person to throw the ball out. 3.5 sacks taken. That feels like a high mark. It feels like something I want to take, but it feels kind of like really high to just like throw your hat on. So let's fade that a little bit. Just sit with me for a minute while I look through these lines. James Cook rushing attempts at 12.5 seems high. Last week was his first game. He went over that, and it was a really easy run defense against the Raiders. They were up huge. I expect the Washington game to be a bit closer. So we're going to tentatively put that at lower. I think he probably ends up with like 12. Hideous Diggs. Let me hit some more of the questions that just came in. Mr. Influence, One Flex, Elijah Moore, Robert Woods, Barrios. Not Barrios because I kind of feel like River Craycraft might be the weird guy, the weird white guy that fills in for Jalen Waddle. Elijah Moore, Robert Woods. That's a really good question. I'm just gonna think that Elijah Moore's talent eventually breaks out. He's had 7 targets and 9 targets, and now they play against the Tennessee Titans pass D. So if there's ever going to be a week that he does it, it's this week. I actually feel more comfortable with Robert Woods' floor, even though they're actually very close, and Moore's week-to-week upside feels like the tiebreaker here for me. Half PPR, Garrett Wilson or George Pickens at flex. Ew. I just, there's just not a lot of spots I want to start Garrett Wilson in this week. So I can imagine their entire defense is going to be around double bracketing Garrett Wilson for New England. So I'm going to go with George Pickens here. Brian Robinson, 52.5 rushing yards. How many interceptions does Russ have this year? Just one last game. I love how they added in yards after the catch as a pick-em line. Raheem Mostert. I always take his under on total yards because they always put it at like 85, even though I fucking love him. Just 80. Oh, we saw in real time they just moved it up. Yeah, I get it. With Jalen Waddle out, they're probably going to lean on him. I just kind of feel like that's a high number. I say this every single week, and it pretty much proves me right every single week. Unless the player is like a talent level of Nick Chubb, RIP, or Saquon Barkley or Bijan, and they list them at a total yardage mark of like 85, they keep doing this, the lower almost, it hits like 90% of the time. Tyreek Hill, 95.5 receiving yards. Oh, my God. I kind of like 28.5 yards after the catch. Dude, they're going to scheme up quick hitters, I feel like, for him all day. Like one slant across the middle that he breaks out for is a game over. I think I'm finna hit that. Probably shouldn't take 2 Miami Dolphins, but whatever. Ooh, River Craycraft, was he at 2.5? Is that where that was? Cray Daddy? Yeah, we're gonna hit that. We're just going all fucking Miami. Fuck it. Can I do 6? No, I can't. All right, we're gonna run with this slip first. We're going to run with this slip. We're going to put a 50 spot in there to win $1,000. Bang. Bang, bang. Let's follow a couple more. Fuck it. For the record, I love Raheem Mostert, and he'll be in every fantasy lineup. But when you're gambling, when you're betting on players, your mindset has to shift. It's not just like, I think this guy's going to have a good game. It's like, what are the odds, right? If I think that total yard number is just way too high, just on a flatline basis, and I think the odds of it not happening are at like 62%, but I still think there's like a 38% chance it happens, that's where like fantasy comes into play. When you're gambling and you feel like you have an 8, 9, 10, 11, 12% edge there, that's when you take those bets. I know everybody thinks of black and white. Like everyone thinks in black and white when it comes to these numbers, but this is how you take edges in betting. Mike Will, 5 receptions. I kind of fuck with that. Where's Josh Kelly at? Do they have a line for the Kellinator? 76.5 total yards? Like, that's so high for Josh Kelly. I'm not going to bet the under, though, but Alexander Madison, where do they have him at? 70 total yards. That feels high also. I think I'm going to take the under on that. Is Jefferson ever getting in? Like, he hasn't scored yet. He's due. He's got to be due, right? He has to be due. Yeah, fuck it. Fuck it. J. Jeff. He scores a touchdown today. This is the day he gets it done. Ooh, okay. They're starting to respect Jordan Addison a little bit. They got Addison over KJ Osborne. More receptions, more yards. I think that makes sense based on what I was saying before. Greg Joseph, 7 kicking points. I actually kind of like this. I'm assuming kicking points is not fantasy points, though, right? Like, I think kicking points would just literally be how many points you scored as the kicker in the game. So that would be 2 field goals and 1 extra point, or 4 extra points, 1 field goal. Does Minnesota underperform? 3 field goals, 2 field goals, 1 extra point, 2 field goals, 2 extra points. I kind of like the over on Greg Joseph here. All right, let's talk Atlanta and Detroit. This is what the fuck I'm talking about right here. 191.5 passing yards. Yikes. Sacks taken. How many sacks has he taken the last few games? Actually, they got a good D-line. See, this is what I don't like about like betting on these types of stats is they're not usually just like readily available. Like, you're going to let me bet on 2.5 sacks taken, but you don't actually have it listed what those stats are from the previous weeks. I like the 2.5 sacks taken because I think Ritter is going to improve like week by week and get a little bit better at protecting the ball. And I think that with the amount that they run the ball and the amount of short passes they do, like, it's just unlikely that he takes a ton of sacks. I think I'm going to take the under there. Fuck it. Fuck it, we ball. Bijan at 3.5 rushing attempts, 3.5 receptions. We're going to move off that. Bijan's still like his whole workload is still a little bit confusing to me. I don't think I've been able to really like figure out on a week to week basis what his workload's going to be. You know, like, it wouldn't surprise me if this week all of a sudden he had like 11 carries and Tyler Algier had 16, but he had like 5 targets. Wouldn't surprise me if he had like 22 carries and 2 targets. I don't know. It's all I don't really like betting on Bijan yet because I still feel like the sample size is too small to really understand what the split between him and Algier is. Though Algier. 11 rushing attempts? That's too low. That's too low. He's so heavily involved in our ground game. Fuck up out of here with that. Drake London, 6.5 targets? 6.5? Oh, what? Oh, no, we want the higher. That's beautiful. They just went down. Real time. You love to see it. Love that. 6.5 targets seems very high. We'll take the lower there, even though the Detroit pass defense is way worse. I don't know. They just don't throw. We just don't throw the ball enough, brother. Young Hoku, 6 kicking points. Up. Actually, I got to stop taking kickers. We're not doing that. We're not doing this. It's a slippery slope once you get into the kick game. 270 for Goff feels high, but I guess without Demont, they probably expect him to throw the ball way more. Gibbs is all the way at 83 total yards. But with Demont out, like, how many yards has he had? Fucking 56 and 60. I could see this being the fucking absolute explosion game by him, though. I could absolutely see it with Demont out. Does he get into the end zone, though? I feel like I'd rather bet the lower on that because they're probably going to use Craig Reynolds down by the goal line. It makes me sick, but I kind of feel like they might do that. Craig Reynolds at 40 total yards feels like a travesty. I'm going lower on that. I actually kind of fuck with Craig Reynolds. I don't even lie. I feel like I liked him last year a little bit. I'm going to let that be. I'm on Ra. So he's dealing with this turf toe, man. I don't know how much he's going to play. I don't know how limited he's going to be. The 9 targets feels a little bit high for me. And we look at 9 targets, 9, 7. The amount of... I'm going lower on the targets because I think he might play a limited snap count. And he keeps getting 9 targets, so that would be a push anyways, worst case scenario. I think we're just going to run the ball so much that the clock really like winds down quickly. Go under there. Joshy Wren, 3 recepts, feels fucking gorgeous, though. Banged up Amon-Ra. No Demont. Throwing the ball more. Yeah, let's go up on Jay Rennie. Of course we accepting that shit. Yep. I feel better about this one, so I'm gonna throw $100 on it for 2,000. Let's make one more. There's so many 1 o'clock games. Zach Moss at 73 total yards is fucking insane. Zach Moss should never be at that level. Not against Baltimore. Kyle Granson at 3 receptions. Dude, they really like Aguilar over there in Baltimore. I kind of feel like two receptions feels like the line that we should smash now, and it's going to keep going up week by week by week. Kendre Miller, 10 rushing attempts from the rip? That feels high. That feels fucking high. Olave. Ooh, why are they taking down all the lines? We're waiting for Jair Alexander. He's already ruled out, brother. Let me fucking rip, dog. This player is no longer available. If we refreshed, would it? Where art thou? All right. 5 receptions, 66.5 receiving. How many times can this guy have over 66 receiving yards and us not think he's about the ball? No Jair? Like, let's fucking go, boy. Boy. Michael Thomas, 53.5. That feels high. I got to be honest, man. They got Taysom at 30.5 rushing yards. They got Tony at 21.5. That Kendre Miller line feels too high. Feels too high given all the time that he's missed. 51. I love him as a talent. I just feel like this feels too high. The 52 yards total. Like, are they really gonna fucking just unleash him? I want to search Twitter and see if we got any inside scoop on what his workload's gonna look like. I don't know. I'm not really seeing anything here. Maybe I'll just let that. Let's let that sit for a bit. Jordan Love. All right. Like, AJ, this is just fucking absurd. AJ Dillon, 80.5 total yards. Did anybody watch this man play last week? The Saints defense is good. That actually, this has got to be like an engineering typo or something. AJ Dillon, 80.5 yards. What the fuck were these people watching last week? Yeah, we're out on that for sure. For sure. I don't care where Aaron Jones is. That's fucking insane. Nico's been balling. Where's Tank Dell? 37.5 total yards? I kind of like the over there. Let's get to Jacksonville, though. This is what the fuck we're really talking about. All right, so we've got 90 total yards. We've got no Zay Jones in this one. So Calvin's going to pop. Kirk's probably going to do pretty well. I think I'm going to take the over on Calvin here. Tennessee and Cleveland. They got Derrick Henry, 89 total yards. Let's see what they got on the Cleveland side. 235.5 passing, 0.5 interceptions, 0.5 total fumbles. Yikes. All right, they got a reasonable Jerome Ford line, 62.5. Even that, I feel like I would probably take the under against this Tennessee D. All right, so Elijah Moore, he's been steadily putting up like 35-ish yards, 43, 36. His line's at 38.5 receiving. They do let him cook fucking running the ball a little bit sometimes. I kind of feel like that 5 yards last week, 19 the first week, like pushes him over the edge there. So I kind of like the total yards here. You've got to feel like the passing rate that they use in Cleveland is going to go up with Nick Chubb out. I guess from like a Vegas standpoint, realistically, the reason that that these numbers would be low is they probably expect Derrick Henry to get 20, 25 carries in the same way that I'm like hesitant always to bet against the Falcons, like the other offensive players, is because the game script is going to be gross and there's probably not going to be a lot of time of possession for the other team. So I can understand that, but I kind of like Elijah Moore here, 40.5 just total yards because he's involved in the rushing game. Kareem Hunt, 27.5 total yards. Ugh. Is he even fucking active today? Ramondre, 85 total yards. Yeah, we're going to rip the lower. Oh, we can't. Okay, fuck it. We'll hit this slip. I want to make another one. I just can't stop. What's happened to me? I never gamble. Mac Jones, 209.5 passing yards, 220 total yards. Is he be running like that? 25 last week, 15 the week before. What the hell? I'm sorry, Ramondre. I got to do it to you, though. 84.5 is too high. Juju, you're terrible, brother. I'm not. You get the fuck off my slip. Zach Wilstein. We already took the under passing attempts for Breece Hall. They've got it 60 total yards. He just really needs one play. I think that's what scares me a little bit. Breece Hall, all right, they got him at 1.5 receptions. I think I like the higher because of the one game script to the weather. Like I could see some dump off some screens to him for sure. It's crazy they got Dalvin Cook almost like half of the total yardage of Breece Hall. Ooh, Carolina, Seattle. Miles Sanders is another dude. They just keep putting his total yardage line like really high. I don't love. Seattle's not a great D though. Chuba Hubbard, 43 total yards. I said that twice actually. Is anyone even fucking in here still? I have no idea. On unlisted streams, I can't actually see. The private streams, I can't see how many people. They got Kenneth Walker at 82.5. I want to hit that under bad. I want to hit it bad. Any more games? Oh, we got the 4 o'clocks. Let's go, boy. Fields are at 60 rushing yards. What the fuck? 9.5 rushing attempts, dog. The fuck? Goodbye, Kelstein. Khalil Herbert, 8.5 rushing attempts. What the fuck? That feels low. He only had 7 last week. Good lord. Kelsey's bike. 9.5 targets. What an insane line. Kadarius Toney. Anytime I could take a Kadarius Toney under, I'm finna do it. Especially he's a little banged up too. Watson's kind of just out here eating every single game too. 19.5 total yards. Yeah. What I got so far? A 3-person slip. Tony P, 0.5. Oh, 0.5 rushing touchdowns. I thought that was total touchdowns. Tony P is probably going to fucking pop today. 15.5 fantasy points. I think I'm going to take the higher on that. Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs against Dallas. All right. So he had the first game he had against Washington. He had 0.98 fantasy points. Last week against the Giants, atrocious D. He had 25. I almost feel like against Dallas, he's going to get fucking carved up. How many yards did he have? 132. I'm gonna go lower on total yards. I'm gonna go lower on this total. Oh, I can't. Fuck. All right, we're gonna rip this slip as well. Hundo. Bang. Fuck it. We ball. Ooh, 30 after 12, huh? I got a couple more questions. Do I? Jacob. Brandon Cooks, Sutton, or Sky Moore, or should I pick up Jaden Reed? Again, a lot of injuries. Ooh, I like Reed a little bit. Cooks coming back from the injury makes me a little bit nervous. I think I like Sutton the most here. Sam Howell, Fields, Mounts Bike. Head PPR, Jalen Warren or Sutton. Jalen Warren. All right, fuck it. We never even opened it up to the public. Fuck them. We don't care about the public. We care about the private. That'll be all for the questions today. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Good luck in week 3. And I'll see you tomorrow, Monday morning, for our game-by-game recap. Always.